And can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh. And you
Hi,
can
everybody. I can hear the music.
And you can definitely hear me.
I can definitely hear all of this.
Everything's in. Everything's in. What a good song.
Great one.
Yeah. One of our friends, Jason, Jared Gleason, made that for us.
Yeah.
And he is amazing.
Very
Yeah,
good.
but we were just kind of like right before we went live, we were talking about like right before COVID, and we kind of like had just a lot of really cool ideas, and then we met this guy Jared who we worked with at the time, and guy was just a mastermind as far as like putting together quick, badass sound clips. So
he's ready every time we ask him something.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Anyway, hello everybody. We are Some Nobodies. My name is Zach. This is Dylan. We make up stuff, and we like to take up time. We just want to take up some time. Time that you can't get back, and time that we're not going to get back either. So if we got to do it, you got to do it, and that's okay. Either way, we make up a whole bunch of stuff, and we get down to business when it comes to show business. We get down to the business. We talk about facts. We talk about lies. Really, we talk about a little bit of everything. And if you don't know, we do this every other time we feel like it.
Yeah.
Sometimes we feel like it, and other times we don't feel like it. But when we do, we like it.
We do it
a lot. I like the show a lot.
Yeah.
So obviously we have one of our bits in the middle, and then we talk about the things that we're interested in, and then we kind of go down a path of something that we used to do. The past, future, past.
Future. The last name is someone I grew up with in my town.
It's weird that past and present are both P words, but then you throw the future in there. Like I feel like it could be the future. No. Anyway, all right. Let's get into the first segment.
Post-present.
Post-present. All right. Let's get into the first segment. As everyone knows, big fan of our first segment here. A-list, miss list. And if you remember, and obviously our emails are going wild, you do remember that. This is our book club. This is our weekly book club where we get together and we find out that there are a lot of celebrities out there that write a lot of books. And we wanted to really put a little segment together and show that just because they're actors, they can also create whole ideas. And if you remember, Dylan, last week we went over the mastermind, Sean Penn, and his book series, the Bob Honey series. We went over last week Bob Honey, Who Just Do Stuff, which is the first book of the series. It is a 2-part series. And just to remind you folks out there, if you don't know Sean Penn's first book, Bob Honey, Who Just Do Stuff, it's a satirical novel that blends elements of political commentary, social critique, and absurdity. The story follows Bob Honey, a 60-year-old man who works as a part-time assassin for a secret organization. The novel explores themes of modern American life, disillusionment, and the surreal nature of contemporary politics and culture. It's known for its unconventional style and its sharp, often provocative commentary on various social issues. It sounds, and we went through this in ad nauseum last week, and we talked about how Bob Honey might be a facsimile for Sean Penn, how the narrative structures are used.
A Sean Penn name, if you will.
Damn it. You got it. You did it again. And that's why I keep you on this show nonstop. Now this week we were tasked, and we let all of our followers out there let them know the book of the week that we're going to be talking about is obviously the second book of the series, the Bob Honey series. Bob Honey Sings Jimmy Crack Corn. And in this one came out a couple years later. Sean Penn really put this together. The back of the book, and if you don't have it, you can check out our website. You can get a digital copy on there. But the book says, Bob Honey Sings Jimmy Crack Corn. The Madcap follows up the debut novel, which was hailed by authors as diversive as Salman Rushdie, Jane Smiley, and Paul Theroux. It explores the deepest recesses of American politics and culture. Now, Bob Honey, as we all know, the disillusioned divorcee with a penchant. My R's look like N's sometimes.
It's okay. You're thinking about the future.
Even when I'm typing them. As a penchant for murder and mallet, he weaves his way towards Washington, D.C. for the ultimate showdown with a certain nefarious landlord, but nothing is as it seems as always. And Bob is going to have more than just the government working against him this time. Part comedy, part thriller, Bob Honey sings Jimmy Crack Corn, established Sean Penn as a fixture of the literary landscape for years to come. And we have a lot of people asking us questions. But, first and foremost, Dylan, how did you feel when reading this book compared to the last book?
Well, I think I talked about this last week, but reading the first book took me 18 months to finish. Yep. And that's not because of any particular content in the book. I just had a really hard time actually seeing it because the words are so small on the page.
Yeah.
And I read the second one in one sitting. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't recommend sitting down for 4 months at a time. That's how long it took. But I thought the lyrical nature of the prose itself was really, really impressive.
Yeah, I completely agree. And as always, we start this little bit with plot and structure. And Dylan, how did you feel the plot unfolded? Like just the basic plot. How did you feel this went?
Like a paper crane in a strong westward wind.
Mm-hmm. I could not have said it better myself. Now, of all the main characters that were given to us and we were able to explore and really live with for the sum of 400 pages, which of the characters were your favorite?
It was Cracked Corn.
Mr. Corn himself.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I didn't expect the titular character to be so engrossing, but the way that they handle the most difficult scene in the book, I was really impressed with how nuanced, Sean Penn has been compared to a hammer sometimes, but he really scalpeled those words together.
Hammers and scalpels. Probably sums up this book series into just 2 words. As we learned in Bob Honey Just Do Stuff, a novel by Sean Penn, we found out that Sean Penn's writing style is known to be surreal and experimental. He likes to make sure that the audiobook also, flows fluidly with the novel itself. Of all of the powerful statements that were presented to us in these many, many grams of ink that were provided inside of this tiny book, what was your standout passage?
Oh my God. I think it was the Northwest Passage when he talks about the trials and tribulations of the people who went up that waterway hundreds of years ago.
Yes, that's true. It is odd how many actual passages Sean Penn I guess Bob Honey navigates while also giving you narrative passages.
As authors, aren't our characters just aspects of ourselves?
I don't think so, but who am I to say?
I don't know.
Now, we found out in the very first book, and I think you said this eloquently, that Bob Honey is not just a fictional character, he's also a non-fictional mirror. I see myself when I look in Bob Honey and his trials. How did you feel about how he interacts in book 2? Did you find this to be the same mirror? Did you see yourself in Mr. Honey?
I had a really hard time relating, particularly because of the number of slurs that he would say. And I was really surprised, Sean Penn is what I think a lot of people would call woke. And I wondered at a certain point, I think I was on about page 3, when I was like, is this just an outlet for him?
Yeah, just to be plugged into and taken power from. I completely agree. He is a power outlet for all of us. Like when we're feeling low, you can open up that book, plug into that outlet, and just receive just that flood of narcissistic energy.
I will say it's a little long-winded, and I do wish that he would have put a fork in it.
He definitely should have put a fork in it. You're right. Oh, the outlet. Gotcha. Yeah. I thought you meant like my metaphor.
No.
The sausage.
No, I was trying to meet you halfway.
Now, there are talks. There are rumors of a third book in this series. What would you like to see Bob Honey do next?
I want to see him go back in time
Gotta go
and
back.
I want to see him go back to the school he went to, and I want to see him affect the rise of the Dark Lord, and alter the timeline in a way that people won't really identify that Sean Penn is a TERF for a long time until he starts writing more books, and everybody's like, wow, in hindsight, that really makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And for those who don't know, TERF is acronym for turd I'd like to fudge, right? Okay. Just for those out there that might not be in the know. Okay, yeah, I love it. Tune in next week. We're going to go over the many lores of Tom Hanks, though real and mystical. He does have a beautiful new book out, and we're excited to go over it.
It's a real book.
What?
Sean Penn wrote a real book called Bob Honey Who Just Do Stuff.
There's 2 books.
That's real?
We just read them and did them. It's for our book club.
Oh, you're right. Okay. I thought they were just ebooks.
No, these are actual books. Here's the first one. Here's the second one.
I mean, I guess all books are made up at some point.
And he also does this thing, only because I did so much research for this dumb bit, but he does this thing where if you look at the first book, it's written under a pen name, but also his name is under the pen name. So it's by Papal Sasson by Sean Penn. So it's pretty much just Sean Penn goes over the world and does acting bits and then inserts himself into random crimes and then thinks that he works for the government, which is pretty impressive. And
it's something.
It is something. It is something. Yeah, so that's our first bit where I just make up something and hopefully Dylan wants to hang on to it as well. Thank you very much for paying attention to that. And if you want some more bits, tune in next week where I'll make up something else for Dylan to get into. Dylan, what are you paying attention to right now? What's on your mental palette?
So I finished the first book of the Troy series by David Gemmell, which I think I've talked about previously. It's a reimagining of the Trojan War. Very good. I'm doing a lot of reading because I'm in grad school now. No, it's fun. I'm reading a lot of stuff that's outside my wheelhouse. Some poetry. I'm reading Secret Lives of Church Ladies. And I should have had my information ready.
Yeah. Great book by Dana Carvey.
I don't think that's right. It's by Disha Filia. No, it's a collection of very short stories about women of color in like the South who are very involved in their church and the secrecies they have going on in their personal lives. It's very good.
Oh, yeah.
And for my own enjoyment, I am playing a video game called Tactical Breach Wizards. Whoa. Where you play, it's more like a puzzle game delivered through like you operate a team of secret, like special ops wizards who go through and have to like clear rooms. Tactically, it's like a turn-based like wizard game, and it's very fun.
That sounds awesome.
It's very fun. The setting is very fun. It's very goofy. Yeah. One of the characters has a wand, but it's got a silencer on the end. Like stuff like that. It's just it's super goofy. Yeah. That's definitely cool. Recommend it.
Yeah, I'll check it out. I have a new fascination. I don't know if you're on Facebook often. I don't think it happens on places other than Facebook that I found. But it seemed like it kind of has come on hard quickly. And it's weird AI images that I cannot understand.
I love these.
There's something that's going on with boomers and other people where they genuinely don't look at the picture and they just comment on it and they say, "Oh,
what is that? Today's my birthday. None love me ye because I am Perori and very big."
Yeah, he's
on top of a very obese black child.
He's obviously very big, and he's in the street, but also on a curb, and he's just very big. It's just baffling to me how many of these I see, and the majority of them are military men with
today's my birthday. No one loved me because I'm poor.
And these things have thousands of likes.
Oh, yeah.
And thousands of comments. And all the comments are like, amen, amen. Why doesn't this get viral? Why doesn't this go viral? And I like this guy's sitting in the traffic.
Cars are blurred from the speed. Wow.
And they're like, hey man, thank you for your service.
Lovely photo.
And the weirdest thing, Dylan, and I sure, I guess there's like, like farming and comment farming, where if you put out something dumb enough, everyone will keep commenting on it and talking about it. And then this page gets a lot of comments and a lot of likes. And that's actually how they scam old people, because they can figure out who likes these images. Most likely it's an older person, and they go at it. But I don't understand why every single one of these pictures has hashtag Scarlett Johansson under it. That blows my mind. And feel free to look at it. I don't understand it. I was doing research on a bit for the show, and I could not get past the fact that if you just like look at hashtag Scarlett Johansson on Facebook, you'll just start seeing a bunch of crazy images that are all these AI.
Is it because there was that controversy where one of the OpenAI guys used Scarlett Johansson's voice as the voice for their AI text-to-speech thing?
Well, I thought that was because of the movie Her.
He admitted to having seen that movie.
Oh.
And that was held up as like...
So people are linking AIs to just generic Scarlett Johansson?
I guess. That's crazy.
It's crazy, right?
I think it's probably because they were initially trying to hitch themselves to that controversy as like, if you're looking for AI with a Scarlett Johansson hashtag, you're going to get our content, and it's going to be an African child making a turkey sculpture out of Coke bottles.
And
he's made out of Coke bottles. Never mind.
He is Coke bottles.
Oh man!
And ironically, the only thing that he's touching is not a Coke bottle.
No, it's.
But I guess he's a turkey, right? He's like a bird.
Yeah, turkeys don't have mohawks, though, do they?
The cool ones do,
I guess.
But people will see this and they'll give it a heart or a thumb, and they'll say, "Amen, God bless you." And that's just so weird. And then hashtag Scarlett Johansson, which I find funny.
It's shocking. I guess it's not shocking, actually, that that boomer generations are starting to just like see a picture online and just be like, "Oh, amen."
Yeah,
God bless.
It's crazy. Like not even looking at it, just friggin' America. Like it's like you just see this and you're like, we gotta help these guys.
Get them out of traffic.
These guys need help.
They're stuck in the road.
Today's my birthday.
Please like.
What is he holding? What's is that a flag? Like
I think it's supposed to be an American flag.
No, the white guy.
The blue flag on top. I think it's supposed to be another flag.
Yeah. Do you think it's also American flag or just?
I mean, I think it's supposed to be, and I don't think the computer was able to parse that.
That's true. I do like this guy.
Those flags should be burned. You're not supposed to let them touch the ground.
I know, they can't be down there.
I do like that he seems to be in an analog, like it looks like a submarine consoles or like NASA consoles.
He's in like the Lost Hatch.
Yeah.
Just upset. Just upset because he messed up spelling because. No one loved me because I'm poor.
Man, we got to start one of these pages and just grift old people for money.
Yeah, I know. I've been thinking about it. But anyways,
it does remind me, like, how many of those comments are from bot accounts? But how many of those do you think are real?
Well, so there's a couple things that people are thinking. One, it's that they can understand who is liking and commenting and then start targeting those people. Another person is saying that what they'll do is they'll get so many likes and comments to one specific page and then change all the content on that page so that it still has like those numbers to get monetized. But then we'll put nefarious things in there, like right-wing propaganda, or they'll just blank it out completely and then sell it because that page itself has so many followers and it's just a nothing page. So it's just weird that people are understanding how to farm likes and views like that.
It reminds me. Go ahead.
No, go
finish ahead. Up. No, it reminds me of like I get these articles every once in a while about AI bot farms online starting to cannibalize other AI content, and how it's like you start off here where it's like AI feeding off the AI is like feeding off like a normal person stuff, and then the AI starts feeding off itself. And because AI is always an imperfect replication, it just goes and eventually you just get like this nonsense, like garbled nothing. Like you just get this. It's reminds me of the Annihilation.
Yeah,
the ending of Annihilation when
that's weird. Yeah,
she's like everything meshes together until there's nothing left. Like
yeah.
So
like they've been saying, like there's those rumors about how they put two AIs on Facebook, and then after like a couple days, those two AIs found each other and then created like their own language, and then people literally just could not understand what they were saying to each other about other humans or whatever. Do you? I mean, obviously, people are trying that, right? They're putting AIs on Facebook to see what happens, right?
Sure.
Not just photos for likes. It's just.
I mean, I used to back in like the mid 2000s. I used to load up two different things of Cleverbot. Do you remember Cleverbot?
Yeah.
And I used to type in a starting message to one, and it would reply, and I'd put that response to the other Cleverbot, and I would hack together an AI conversation. We're just automating that.
Yeah.
I don't think every once in a while you get these stories of like two AI get together and they come up with a crazy, weird and it's like, yeah, it's just generative dialogue.
Yeah.
Like if they created a language, then I would be interested to get a linguist in there and analyze it to see if there's any actual like consistency, or if it's literally just regurgitating combinations of letters to each other.
Yeah.
Because languages have rules. You have certain ways that letters fit together.
Yeah. I could have sworn that I saw that it was creating like its own language. But I don't know. I should have done more research on this before bringing this up. Yeah. Anyway, and then I was like telling Suzanne about this, and she's like, "Oh my God, did you see that one robot? There's like the first recording of a robot committing like, a suicide, and like this robot that was like designed for manual labor. After like 12 minutes, it like started like walking in as like a circle, and then it just like threw itself off a cliff or something."
Sure.
And I'm like, I get it, bro.
I get it. I can
get it. Manual labor sucks.
Like, man, I worked manual labor for 7 years, and recently I'm no longer in that job, and I'm kind of feeling it physically, just like not having to be physical every day. Like it was easy physical activity, and now I'm like, I have to go to the gym 3 to 5 times a week.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that my body doesn't fall apart on my bones.
Yeah, I definitely miss like that high energy moving around, but I also.
I mean, we had certain experiences.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. All right. Movie time. Let's talk about some movie stuff. Sure. I think that, people are saying like the movies are back. The movies are back. I don't know if you've heard that or not. Like, I think once like Barbie and Oppenheimer hit, there's been an expectation of like more quality content in films. I think Marvel kind of diluted everything. And, but I think with like a recent string of kind of cooler movies, like Longlegs, there was M. Night's daughter did a movie, The Watchers, which was pretty cool. There's been some pretty, and A24 is just always crushing it constantly.
Bleecker Street's also doing good stuff. Mostly.
Oh yeah, yep, true. So I was like, oh yeah, and I even saw Beetlejuice recently, and it's weird because I think that movies have been so not great that I was so interested in kind of tearing them apart and like questioning why certain characters are doing certain things. But when I left Beetlejuice, I remembered that movies should just be fun. They should just be fun. You know what I mean? Like They should just be like, I mean, obviously you can have serious movies, you get movies that have like some heart to it, but I think genuinely you should just enjoy yourself, enjoy the experience of seeing a movie. And
sure.
yeah, it was weird because Beetlejuice, like, have you seen it? Have you seen the second one yet?
No, I am not particularly interested.
Yeah, and I wasn't very interested, but I like the experience of seeing some movies in the theater. And when I started doing the Tim Burton math, and I don't know if you know about the Tim Burton math, right? Where if it's his property, it's great. If it's a sequel, it's good.
Okay.
If it's a remake, it's terrible. So anytime he's in anybody else's property, like the Planet of the Apes, not great. Alice in Wonderland's really awful. Dumbo, kind of annoying. So when he's in other people's IP, terrible. When he creates his own IP, like Pee-wee or Beetlejuice or even like Big Fish.
Yeah, I like Big Fish.
Yeah, like the movies that he's doing, like. But then you're like, okay, well, the sequels of the movies, you have Batman Returns,
Bigger
which
fish,
is even bigger fish, real big fish,
biggest fish, the third in the trilogy.
That's when the dancer guy gets into it. So I was like, okay, well, this is his property, so it should be good. It's a sequel of his property, so it should be okay. And I read an interview that he purposely has not seen Beetlejuice 1, nor did any research into it when making and writing the script for this one. So I was like, oh, that's cool, because then it's not really leaning on the first movie, which a lot of sequels will do, right? It's like, this is all the stuff that you remember from the first one. How do I redo that? So when writing this one, he actually creates like a whole new story that isn't just rehashing the old movie. And obviously the old movie exists, so you can see that in there as well. But I thought it was really interesting how he went about making this. And
I guess I assumed he did the first one. Who did the first one?
No, he did Beetlejuice.
Oh, he intentionally did not go back to rewatch.
Right.
Okay, I misunderstood you.
Like, it wasn't like they came to him and said, we need a Beetlejuice movie and it has to do all this stuff, right? He just decided, like, this is the time I'm gonna just knock this thing out. And I think that visually it was amazing. Like, I'll say it's awesome. Tim Burton, the CGI is perfectly used. He really leans on practical effects and his claymation, and it's all the stuff that you kind of want to see, I think, in a Beetlejuice, without being just, here's this thing and here's this thing and here's that thing you remember. So it was pretty cool. I think my biggest worry was the dad from Beetlejuice 1.
Yes,
is a icky man.
Oh, he is convicted.
Yeah,
this is not speculation. This is not cancellation.
Very, very.
This is a conviction and a sentence.
Yeah, quick
Google, good reason.
Quick Google, you'll see what he's about. I'm not going to get into it. It's pretty bad. It's actually very, very bad. So I was like, well, they're probably going to have to deal with this character because he was a big deal of the first one. He's the reason they bought that house. And what they do with his character, I thought was perfect. It was spot on. And I absolutely, and his character is actually in it a good amount. Not the actor.
The character.
The character, most of the character is in it a lot of the movie, which is cool. And they did a really good thing with it. Like he, no spoiler, he dies like immediately in a very, very nasty, savage way. And then they make him look like a fool the rest of the movie.
That's one way to do it.
Yeah, which is cool.
I guess.
Yeah, acting's great. I mean, Catherine O'Hara really drives that thing hard, and she's perfect as always. They didn't lean too heavy on Jenna Ortega, which I was a little bit worried about. I thought they were really going to make her the next like Lydia, and they didn't, which is cool. And Beetlejuice was used sparingly, so I think it's actually really worth seeing. Not a perfect movie. My biggest problem with this movie is that I think there's about 3 bad guys, and there really doesn't need to be any. And the main villain is the person who Tim Burton is married to currently. So then they get that goth, kind of. I think it's Monica Bellucci, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, she's obviously gorgeous. It's cool watching her character, but it's very weird like what they're doing. Anyway, yeah, check it out if you want to. It's not bad. But that leads me to hoping that movies are going to be good until I saw the Mufasa trailer.
Yes.
And have you seen this?
I've seen clips and reactions to it.
Yeah.
I have zero interest. It shocks me that people are interested in this at all on a conceptual level.
I completely agree. This movie is a prequel to a remake that was done live action.
No.
Well, not CGI. Live action. It was CGI, but it was like...
It's photorealistic. It is not live action.
And so in The Lion King, that was photorealistic, directed by Jon Favreau, which is crazy. The animals, it's like almost like a documentary where like the animals are just animals and people are talking and you know which animal's speaking, but the mouths don't really move and there's no emoting whatsoever.
It's very uncanny.
It's really odd and not good because the original Lion King, great movie.
As a project and as an Avatar-esque way to push technology forward.
Yeah.
I kind of get it.
Okay.
However, as like a conceptual, like, hey, let's try this.
Sure.
However,
yeah,
the context in which it exists in the current Disney live-action remake era, and the fact that it made like $1.5 billion. Yeah, they're gonna milk that cow until that thing is shriveled up.
So it's a prequel to that. And we get the story of young Mufasa, who I think is also going to be the story of Lion King again. But I think you get Scar, like young Scar, and that's kind of cool. But they changed the making of it. So now the mouths move more, there's more emoting. And I think that they kind of figured out that it's not necessarily the stories being told by animals that we liked. It was the animals telling the stories that we liked. So I think I like what they're doing with it, but I hate that it's being done. Like I genuinely am upset that we're getting a Mufasa storyline because whenever you get a prequel, the prequel always makes the original movie worse. Always.
And a prequel is almost never necessary.
Yeah. Because if it was necessary, you would have told that story.
Yes. And I don't know if I've done my prequel rant on this show.
I haven't heard it.
Where you need to do very specific things with a prequel to make it to justify its existence. First, you need to justify its existence. You need to make it so that you put something from the original in a new context so that it enriches the original. So this is going to be a weird example because otherwise I think Obi-Wan Kenobi, the series, is bad. Badly made, badly written. But there's a specific moment where young Leia knows that the bad guys have put a tracking thing on her ship or whatever, on Obi-Wan's ship or something so they can track him down. Which, when you hear her say, with no surprise whatsoever, in A New Hope, they have a tracking signal on here, you idiots. Of course they're doing it. It's like, oh, because I watched Kenobi, I know that she's dealt with this and it does that. It's not like, why does Leia wear her hair like that?
Right.
Wow. All right. I'm glad I got to see the origin of a hairstyle. Or the issue you have with a prequel is that I know where this character is going to wind up. I know that any stakes against this character's safety, life, whole whateverness doesn't matter. It's going to get... I know that they're going to survive and through early episode 9, whatever. So you tell it from a side story of a character that affects that character's journey in a way, and that way you have personal stakes in the happenings of the side character. Rogue One. Star Wars is the easiest frame of reference for this sort of prequel, bad prequel-itis that's going on. Rogue One, And then Andor also does prequel stuff because it shows where he comes from.
You're not going to talk shit on Andor, are you?
No, of course not. Andor's
the wrong
a legitimately good TV.
Yeah.
Some nobodies is 100% pro Andor.
Pro Andor.
The rest of Star Wars,
not such a fandor.
No. Not yeah. Just one of the worst fan bases in all of fiction.
Yeah, true.
Anyway,
I like Rogue One.
I like Rogue One too.
Yeah.
But I think Andor is exactly the type of story that enriches Rogue One while also having stakes, because I like what the side characters that he deals with. And I want them to be okay.
Yeah.
Whereas I know how Cassian Andor dies. Like, that's nothing that he goes through in that series makes me afraid for his safety. But they make the side characters likable, so the story's worth telling because I want to see where Andy Serkis's character winds up, where his mom winds up, the droid. Like, anyway, that's my prequel points. Make me care about someone who's not the main character because the stakes don't matter for them. And B, justify why you're a prequel instead of just another story with a different character.
Yep, because most likely the fan base that you're making this for knows where your character is going to end up because you've already told that story. So make it riveting.
Well, we've seen with Star Wars, at least, that all it takes for certain sections of the fan base to like it is literally just, hey,
yeah,
I recognize that.
Remember that?
Enough has been said about that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, that's upsetting. But and that's
Mufasa has so far not justified its existence to me.
Yeah, but it's also, I think, a problem with things like the Acolyte for Star Wars. You know, if it isn't the things that they know, they are now kind of upset about it because it's not the Skywalkers or it's led by females, and you know, and those are obviously two things that Star Wars fans cannot handle if there's no Skywalkers and if it's led by a female. So, but because to me, the Acolyte is very good conceptual storytelling.
Sure.
Not individual episodic storytelling. But it's upset. Did you watch that at all?
I didn't watch any of it.
So
Yeah.
And that makes it, you're literally not missing anything. Episode 1 is probably the best episode.
I hear the lightsaber stuff is neat.
They did wire work and they have Carrie-Anne Moss, so like cool. it feels cool. Yeah. I think wire work is something that Star Wars should have been doing forever.
You need to lean into that wuxia stuff, yeah,
because it's great. The thing about Acolyte was it was originally pitched to be an Asajj Ventress story, which is very cool. And Disney was like, "No, we have plans for that." And Lena Headey, who did Russian Doll, was like, I have a really cool tale about these witches, about Asajj Ventress, and how she eventually goes to being bad, but wants to be good. And Disney was like, no, we have an Asajj story. We need to make Force dyads make more sense. And she's like, I don't have anything for that. And they literally said, split your main character into 2 and tell the same story. And which she wanted to do a Rashomon style, you don't know who's good and who's bad. Asajj Ventress ends up with Dooku. And they're like, no, set it in the prequels. We got to talk about Plagueis. We need Force dyads to be something, blah, 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 blah. Which sucks, you know, because you're like, they're getting good stories, but they can't give good stories. It's
incredible to me that most Star Wars content is created solely to justify other Star Wars content, where it's like, JJ did a Force, whatever the hell a Force dyad is in episode 9. Okay. So we have a series coming out in 2024. Make it reference Force dyads, and then have Plagueis hang out in a cave. I saw that where he just kind of creepily, he's just kind of like,
yep, 100%.
Yeah.
I was like, well, and then
he's
Yoda
supposed to be like a super high level, like ancient Sith guy, and my assumption with that is that he would have comfortable living quarters.
You would think so.
Instead of being a creepy cave monster, that seems like something you would have hey, you wonder where Jabba got his Rancor? Like it's a Rancor scene. Like,
yeah, you're right. Like the guy can manipulate life and death and can make anyone do anything, and you're living in a swamp cave. Like, get out of here. Like, I get the view's nice, but still, like, you should have a couch.
I guess I just don't understand Star Wars.
You don't, and that's one of the biggest problems that we have is you just don't get it. Also, the trailers I saw the Venom Last Dance. Have you seen this?
Yes, I have seen the trailer, the very first one.
Yeah, is that the one with the Venom horse?
Yes,
that's pretty cool.
Cool. Let's. It's the third movie.
That's pretty cool.
Let's just do it. Let's just
Venom
go
horse.
for it. Just go for it. Yeah, I don't know.
Cool. I'm into
the only way that Sony can possibly save their dumb little not so Spider-Man's like absentee Spider-Man universe is just to go crazy with it. Just go nuts.
Just go crazy.
Have Venom be a horse.
Yeah.
Have Craven be Aaron Taylor Johnson, I guess.
Oh,
that's crazy. He looks good. He looks very good.
It's an R-rated movie.
I'll believe it when I see it.
I saw a Red Band trailer.
Digital blood spatters.
Obviously, you gotta hit the Chinese market. You gotta be able to take that out.
You gotta be able to take it out and make a PG-13 version for Disney.
We gotta take that out in post. And then I also saw, and I'm actually excited about this. Of a lot of movies I see trailers for, I'm like, oh my god, Gladiator 2. I was really curious how you feel about Gladiator 2. Now, obviously Ridley Scott, amazing director, directed the first one, directed Alien, did a lot of cool Blade Runner, a lot of cool stuff.
Prometheus,
did a lot of not good stuff.
Robin Hood.
I hear Napoleon's not great. I think you liked it.
I didn't see Napoleon.
Oh, okay.
Apparently it focused almost entirely on his relationship with Josephine, whatever her name was.
And if we're not sick of those stories, I'll tell you, like, I don't need another Napoleon and Josephine story. Put it back on the water slide.
2 syllables in your name, Max.
Mad.
Nappy and Joe.
Nappy Max. But yeah, Gladiator 2. What do you think?
Listen, Ridley Scott makes good trailers.
He does.
And
maybe that's what it is.
Everybody in it is good.
Yeah.
It looks good. Denzel looks great.
Do you buy Denzel as a gladiator?
He's not a gladiator, is he? He's like a senator or something.
I thought he fights.
I think everything I've seen of him, he's decked out in like fur and gold.
Oh, I thought I saw.
I think he's playing. I think he's effectively playing like the old sponsor role that was like the guy who bought Maximus.
Yeah.
Gladiator is one of my most formative movies.
Really?
100%. I put that movie on, and it is like pupils dilate, blood veins widen. It's like a Requiem for a Dream. Like it hits.
What?
It hit. It's just like it. That scene in Requiem for a Dream where like no.
Like oof.
No.
Really get off on Requiem.
I was at a bar here in Chicago a couple weeks ago. I was going to karaoke. And I was early because I take public transit now. And I was like, you know what? I'll get some food beforehand. And they had Gladiator playing. And I was just sitting there just like.
Yeah. Such a badass movie.
So good. It's so good. 22 years later.
It's so good. And it also released right when like DVDs were just a thing. So like people that was the first time you could like stop and actually like look at it digitally. And there's all like that's the first time that was probably the first or second DVD I can remember getting and finding special features and seeing like that they tried to do like the rhino in there and like weird special features. And that movie slaps hardcore. Like that movie's so good.
It's on Amazon Prime, so I might watch it tonight.
We're probably gonna cancel out of this and watch it right now. But what could you think that movie could be to justify being a part 2?
If it delivers the same beats with the same effectiveness as the first one, I will be satisfied. It could be effectively not a 1-to-1.
Yeah.
But it's a guy gets betrayed, becomes a gladiator, works with a rich guy to get revenge on the politician who screwed him over, And if they do it with the same style and care and like general attention to detail that first one does, I'm probably gonna walk out satisfied with that movie. It's not gonna take much for me.
If we would have seen that movie together and we left the theater and I said, Dylan, who's the gladiator? What would you say to me? Would you say that Gladiator is a state of mind or a title similar to Highlander?
No.
It'd be Russell Crowe.
Oh, Gladiator. I thought you were saying Gladiator 2, and I was trying to find a way to answer this while being like, I haven't seen it yet.
If we would have left Gladiator 1 together, if we would have seen it together and I turned to you and I said, hey, quick question, who's the Gladiator?
Maximus is the Gladiator.
Maximus,
Primarily. There are other gladiators in it, but
true.
The Gladiator is Maximus Decimus Meridius.
So for
General of the Empires of the North.
To be part 2 without having Joaquin in it or without having Russell Crowe in it, we're just assuming that Gladiator is like we're getting a story of a gladiator, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I think the current person, I think the main character is supposed to be the grandson of, it's not Joaquin, I think it's a grandson of Marcus Aurelius.
Denzel is?
No. The gladiator. Mezcal?
Pedro Pascal?
No, Pedro Pascal's the bad guy, I think.
Oh, okay. So Pedro Pascal is the Joaquin Phoenix of this movie?
I think so, but I think he's supposed to be like,
I thought he's a fighter guy.
I think he is, but I think he goes into the arena to hang out. Like, I think he does it casually.
So any good movie about a gladiator being broken and then brought back to overcome adversity is going to be good.
Not necessarily, but if they do it with this, if they put the same level of effort into it that they do for the original Gladiator, I'll probably be cool with it.
Do you think it needs to have connections to the first movie to have relevance, or should it be autonomous?
I think it's inevitable that it will, and I think the main character is supposed to be the grandkid of someone from the first movie. Now, if they make a reference to Maximus, which I'm sure they will
someone say, "Are you not entertained?"
Yes.
I might walk out.
I'm not going to like that, but there's going to be. It is inevitable. That's just how we do things now.
Are they going to change up the verbiage?
Entertained?
Are you not?
Having fun yet? Are we having fun yet?
Y'all came to party, huh?
Did you see Alien Romulus?
I did.
How did you like the clumsiest line drop reference in years?
Did you see Alien Romulus?
Yeah.
Okay, so the way that I took that, and I'm going to walk hard to justify this, right?
Okay.
Earlier in the movie, and I'm assuming you're talking about Andy saying it, right? Okay. Earlier in the movie, that scumbag guy who nobody likes and is written that way on purpose says it to Andy, like offhand. And I caught it, and I'm like, is that how they're going to do that line? And then when Andy says it later, I genuinely felt it was Andy like being like, I just learned this sentence. I have to be tough. For that reason alone, I was okay with it because it wasn't just out of the blue. The scumbaggy guy said it to Andy when Andy was like touching his girl or whatever, or like holding somebody. And I was like, oh, he picked up on that. Okay.
I don't remember that first one.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you're wrong.
Without that first one, yuck.
I missed that first one, and it was,
yeah.
Are you sure? Because there was because other people in my theater groaned at the second one.
I groaned at it too. And I also feel like I clocked that guy saying it, which made Andy say it later. I have amazing things to say about Alien Romulus, and I have a couple not so great things to say about Alien Romulus. I don't know why Andy's voice changed. Why was he British? That blew my fucking mind.
When he goes bad,
when he gets the upgrade and he has a British voice, rocked my world.
He was kind of British before that, wasn't he?
No, and he's not
British people are evil.
That. Yeah,
in the future.
Also, of all characters to bring back, why Ash, and why not name him Ash? Why give him a different name?
Why give it? Well, so my assumption with that first alien he's such an every guy until you learn he's a robot. And my assumption was like, are these androids not supposed to be easy to miss? So that way they can just kind of like be set on a crew.
Yeah.
And just kind of observe without drawing attention to themselves. If that's the case, why do you use the same model for all of them?
Right.
Which they clearly don't, because Andy's different. And I think there's at least
Bishop
David.
Too. A Bishop.
Yeah. But like this is not an Alien Romulus episode.
This has turned into an Alien Romulus episode.
I give it a pretty strong.
Welcome back to Ranting on Romulus.
Yeah. I'm giving it I give it a pretty straight across the bow 3 out of 5. I thought it had moments where I was like, hey, good for you for doing that on screen. Yeah. And it had moments where I was like,
yuck.
This is bad.
Yeah, this is what's wrong with movies.
And also, there are some problems with it. Like,
really?
Pacing wise and internal consistency.
Well, Aliens, for some reason, the Alien franchise is famously a 4-act movie scene, which always throws people a little bit because it has that wrap up feel to it, and then it goes nuts. But I will say, the end of this Aliens was it. I see a lot of movies in theater, right? I see a lot of movies, and I'm with Suzanne for almost every single movie. This movie made me grab her arm so hard because I was absolutely terrified by what I saw on screen. Yeah. That thing at the end is
gross.
The coolest way, grotesque.
Yeah.
Hideous. Also practical. That is a man.
Yes. That's the look of the movie.
Yeah.
The physical appearance and visuals of everything in it looks great.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect.
I love the wall vagina sack.
Yeah, gross. Love it.
Gross.
I did not love that when the guy put his shock stick into it, that later you could see a xenomorph that had electrocution in its head. I was like, that's dumb.
There was and they have metal teeth.
I'm cool with that.
But I'm like,
oh yeah, if you're organic.
What? How?
What? Yeah.
How?
I
do you
do
have
like
those? Where do you get those?
I do like the concept of having half of your DNA only as a species is so cool to me. I think that's beyond more clever than anything I've ever thought of. I think that's really, really cool.
If the Alien franchise sprawls out to be space horror movies that are effectively slashers on an industrial spaceship thing.
Yeah.
And we introduce increasingly weird, fucked up, weird alien monsters, just all kind of vaguely inspired by xenomorphs and aliens. Hell, all right.
Yeah.
I generally, it's like going on a I don't know what to compare it to, but it's like I've been on this ride before and they've changed some of the set pieces. It's like I know exactly what's going to happen, but the difference is now instead of a big penis-headed black monster thing, now it's a weird naked man.
God, it's so
with alien stuff on it.
It's so nasty, and it has an X for a belly button. It's so gross.
I didn't think that was a belly button, but yes.
Oh, is that?
I assumed it was just
a hole.
Yeah.
Did you also think later you're going to see it nursing? Did you expect to see it?
I did not expect that. No.
I only expected that, and I was grossed out.
It was an effect. It's an effective monster.
Yeah, really good.
And if Alien continues in doing that, I'm like, I'll keep going to see him. I do think So I think it's inevitable to compare this to Prey, the Predator movie. They are similar. They are similar franchises, just thematically and like conceptually.
Yeah.
However, Prey felt like a theatrical release to me.
It definitely should have been.
Alien Romulus felt like something I would have watched on Hulu.
Really?
Yeah.
I could have.
There was something about it that felt just not quite there.
Really? Yeah. I definitely disagree with that. I felt that it was probably the closest to like seeing one of the original Alien movies like in the theater. Like I felt like it wasn't cheap sets. I felt like they took the attention to make the wide, the wide pulling and then also feeling super small. I definitely could see Romulus being dropped on Hulu or something. But I felt that the production value was very high. Like I saw a lot of money there. Like it didn't feel cheap to me.
I think it only had like 70 million.
Yeah.
Which is good for them.
Prey felt like it could have been cheap, but well done cheap.
Prey is efficient.
Yeah, I like Prey. I'm excited for Prey 2. And Prey 2 better be in the theaters. Because I think it deserves to be.
Where it's a missionary instead of a
say your prayers.
Say
yeah. Together we must.
Oh man.
Together we must pray.
Oh, there we go.
All right. We usually have in our segment at the end of this. Do we want to run through this real quick, or do you want to save this for next time? Okay, cool. So what we do in this segment, if you don't know, we have a show called Talking Upstream where we found some of our favorite creators and we interview them about what they do and why they do it, and then we pitch them an idea each. They choose one of those ideas, and then one of us is butthurt and the other one is very happy, and then we discover how to work that thing collectively. And it's very cool. We have 52 episodes of that over on our YouTube channel, which got me thinking that is a good for a bracket, right? There's 52 things. Why not break them all down and see which one of all of the things that Dylan and I have created is maybe the best or maybe the one worth working on. So I created this big 52 style single elimination bracket. Last time we talked, we went over MacGuffin, which is a cool kind of military rescue the hostage, but it is a leprechaun, and that was versus historical time heist, which is just fun, just a fun romp through time with celebrities that we all know and love. This time, what the wheel brought up was episode 36 with our friend Jess Paul, and that was failed reality show. Do you remember failed reality show?
Yes. I think you had like had that idea for a while.
I did.
I remember you talking about it for a while. It's a good idea.
Yeah, I had the idea of a reality show that was basically like either B or C list celebrities, and they were put into like a place like cold Ukraine, and they were trying to figure out how to like survive or whatever. And the idea was that production was going to come put up cameras everywhere and, just film them doing their thing. And it was going to be a Survivor style. The premise of the story was that they lost all funding in transit to the to the location of filming, and everybody in production backed out without telling these celebrities. They get dropped off. They are recorded and they think that they're on a reality show, and they're not. They're just there to die. And I thought that was really cool. So we went through that with our good friend Jess Paul. You can watch on episode 36 of that. That's going to be up against episode 14, which is from a show that we were on and is a really cool podcast called Force 5 with our friend Jason. And we pitched an idea called 25 to Life. And that was a really interesting time loop scenario where these people were put into a time loop. They lived the exact same day over and over again. But the crux of this story was that they've been there for 25 years already, and they're trying to figure out how to get out, except one person in there has cancer, and they don't want to get out of the time loop. So it's an interesting kind of story of what people will do if they have infinite time of the exact same day. Those are really cool episodes. If you're interested in how those things got created, go check those out on the YouTube channel or on Patreon. By the way, we got a Patreon if you don't know. Some nobodies. Patreon.com. We would love your help because we like creating stuff. We like to do it more, and Dylan would like to have a third t-shirt.
That'd be great.
Yeah. The two you have are great though.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so let's put these together, right? Let's rock these. Of these two, did any of them stand out to you more than the other one? Do you remember these episodes? Do you remember these stories?
I remember both of them.
Yeah.
And I remember because 25 to Life was something that we had after the show. We had talked with people we knew who had worked with us before to physically film this as a thing.
Yeah.
And of course, this was in early 2020 when the world ended, and now we are still currently just living in the remnants of what previously was.
Yeah.
But I think,
we actually we got as far as actually scouting a location and really working on sets and some blocking. We'd cast this thing and we were going to really put it out in an interesting way. But then COVID really gave you the 1-2.
Yeah. But I think going back to these ideas, I think there's something so funny about the reality show one where a bunch of people get, I think I remember us talking about it being a tropical location. So that way if it's like a bunch of vapid celebrities, they don't immediately die. Like they're able to like get fruit and stuff like that.
Yeah, that
so
makes
it's like
sense.
it was on like an island off the coast of the big island of Hawaii or something, like a small one. And I think there's something very funny about either a movie or short series where it's a bunch of idiots like Love Island or something. You know, it feels like a Netflix show gone wrong because Netflix is doing all this trashy like dating show stuff. Too Hot to Handle.
Yeah.
Oh, it should be like Too Hot to Handle, except the production team disappears.
Did you know there's a show called Naked and Afraid of Love?
I did not know they went that far.
Oh yeah, there's couples on there. They're all naked, they're all afraid, and they go on dates. It is very weird.
God.
But yeah. No, I agree. I think that's cool. I think if like production takes its time and like stocks down with like pigs or something, something that could make them, like could give them things for later on to do. Like there's a random like bar there, and there's like other weird sets there. I think that's very funny. I like that idea.
They're specifically told there will be minimal interaction from outside. So they've set up a talking head corner. And so they can provide talking heads anyway. And it's just like early on, one of them dies or like disappears. And everybody's like, well, I guess Jackie couldn't hack it. And then,
looks like we finally voted Jackie out.
And then a couple weeks later, they come across like, these look like human bones. Like, shut up, Stephanie, you're not a doctor.
Have you noticed that?
No, this is Jackie. This necklace says Jackie, and it's in massive rhinestone, like gold letters.
But this is Jackie's grill.
Wow, they really attach it to a skull, huh? Like, there's. I think there's a lot of fun stuff you could do with that idea. And I think you could make a tight hour 45 comedy.
Yeah. Oh, you don't think that's more of like a series where it's like you can get like day 1 through 3 and then you can kind of go like 30 days and keep watching a couple days at a time? I mean, they're trying to live out there. You can see some weird stuff. So I guess it all depends on the characters that you create. So if we were to pick this one, we would need to really create some interesting characters. We would like to see them go on certain kind of arcs and really create some interesting arcs for these characters to go on. And I guess most of them dying, right?
If it was a series, it would need to be real tight. Like it needs to be. I feel like this idea lends itself to a constant escalation of like really quick escalation of like you do the first week and everybody's having fun, and then you cut to like day 11 and everybody's like, man, they're really putting us through the ringer, huh?
See, I kind of viewed it as like every 3 or 4 days, somebody just randomly dies, and the cast thinks that someone was voted out, and like somehow like and now the people are like, we're almost winning, like there's only like 4 of us left, and I feel like them just never understanding, like always keeping it that it like it is whatever, that it is a show. I think that's also funny, and I could see that being 7 to 8 episodes, maybe
like half hour, 45-minute episodes.
Half an hour episodes.
Like pretty rapid fire jokes.
Yeah, I think you knocked it out. And what is your issue with the 25 to Life? Do you think that the trope of time loops is done too much to do something new with it?
Oh, I don't think so. I can't remember I think so. I remember the last time loop thing I watched was Palm Springs, and it's been a while.
And it's great.
But it's great. But the interesting thing about that and why I think it works so well is that new people are getting brought into the same loop and they remember it. And I think that's an angle that hasn't been done very often.
Yeah.
So I think having a group of people who are camping together and have to wake up at a campsite.
Yeah.
And they're just like, I haven't pooped in a toilet in 30 days.
And for those who don't know,
get used to it.
Yeah, for those who don't know, the premise of this was that these group of friends were all going camping. There was 5 or 6 people, and I think two of the couple, like there were couples in it, and one person, it was like they're going away. There was like a party for one of the friends, and the friend had some kind of fatal disease, and
it was like a farewell camping. It was like we're all going to do one last hurrah camping trip.
Yeah. But then what happens in the show is that you pick this show up 25 years in the future, because where they camped is on a time loop. So these couples that have, even though they keep the memories of all their days, they don't age any further, but they all wake up in the same exact space. So when this one couple wakes up, they're actually snuggling, but since it's been 25 years, they hate each other. So they wake up snuggling and immediately run away. One of the characters just cannot handle what's going on and has been fighting, or at least learning something off screen for 25 years on how to. So you never really see that character. Another character is actively trying to stop the upcoming, let's get out of this, because once they go back to real life, their illness sets back in. And I thought having some kind of heart, or having a reason for whenever you watch time loop movies, it's always, let's get out of this time loop, and I like the idea of trying to understand and contextualize what it would be like for someone to not want to be in the real world, to want to live this pseudo beautiful day forever, because of the stress and what they got going on. So I thought that was really interesting. So yeah, I think it's actually going to be a pretty hard pick this week. But I think that you're right. I think that the failed reality show would have easier content to come up with, an easier way of putting that down on paper. I think that the other one is going to take a lot more work to really flesh out what the actual idea. I think with that one, it's more of a concept. With this one, we have more of an idea on that one.
And there is something I have a hard time philosophically not viewing a time loop eventually as just hell.
It's got to be hell.
I mean, you can't.
It's got to be hell.
You can't. I don't think you can. I think depending on how long it goes, you cannot portray that in a positive light. You can't write anything. You can't write anything down.
And maybe that's where we go with it. Maybe it's like the person is doing this is like, they know once they get out, they're going to go back into remission or illness again. And maybe they're at the point where it's like, I would rather that than this. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some interesting things we can do with it. But I think that. So, what's your vote? What moves on to the next round of this?
I mean, I think real failed reality show.
Okay.
I think that's right now. Right now, that the idea of working on that is way more appealing. Sure. I think there's a lot more. I would think working on that is way more fun.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, I'm into that as well. That's 2 votes for failed reality show. If you're watching this and you have any interest, leave us a comment and let us know which one of these 2 you prefer more. If there's enough votes, we'll change our mind. We like both of them. Obviously, we came up with both of them, so we're doing it. But so far, we do like failed reality shows. So that's going to move on to the next round. And we're knocking these things out pretty quick. So yeah, I think that's it. I don't really have any emails or comments or anything to go. We kind of are a little bit over time anyway. Dylan, do you want people to know anything? You have anything to plug?
I'm not on any networks that I want people to find me on. Should make this our
background.
Oh, yeah, that looks good.
We even do half these shows.
Now that I mean, yeah, no, don't find me anywhere.
No,
there's nowhere to find me.
Here,
come watch this show. Watch the only feed that you should find me on, unless you're commissioning me for creative paid work, is some nobody's official content.
You can find Dylan in Chicago. You muted?
Oh no.
You're not
your
muted.
mic, when you put the music on, your mic just went. Sounded like you were underwater.
Oh no, I was trying to play you off in a cute way.
Aww.
Either way, guys, we are Some Nobodies. My name is Zach. This is Dylan. We do random stuff all the friggin' time. Also some of the time. So if you want to see anything else, let us know. We appreciate it. We appreciate you. I've been Zach. He's been Dylan. But you've been great. Have a great evening, folks. Thank you very much. Adios. How do we